I guess that's mine then. That's enough chicken. Because I guess sweet and crunchy it is. You can have sweet and crunchy, you can go with that.
Hello YouTube, DSN here, and today I'm going to give you my review of the Drift Ghost HD. Now, I've had this camera for about a week or so now, but I've been using it every day. And sorry guys, I'm just concentrating at the moment because this is literally going right past two different schools. And the last thing I want is bits of kid all in my bike. It'll be a nightmare to clean out. But what we're going to cover is, first of all, why I chose the camera over the competitor. Then we're going to cover the good points, the bad points, including the microphone this time. Learned that from my comments on the Replay 720 video. And then last but not least, just a general overview of what I think of the camera as a whole. And I'm going to filter this now, there's traffic stop this side. Yeah, first of all, why I chose this over the competition. Well, I chose the camera over the Contour based solely on the fact that I don't really know the Contours very well. I don't know much about the Contours, but the reviews I've read on them really weren't that good, basically, compared to the reviews of the Drift. There's a lot of functionality that they didn't have. In short, I don't really know them. A lot of people complain about them, so that was enough alone to put me off of them, and I've never used them before. So that one was just out the window straight away. I've never been that keen on them myself anyway. And then the reason I chose the Drift over the... Sorry, the reason I chose the Drift Ghost over the GoPro was basically that when... Now, the GoPros are fantastic. You know, they're absolutely great cameras. But when you're helmet mounting them, they just look awkward. They either look stuck out right on the side looking silly, where everyone notices them straight away, or they're stuck on the head and you look like a Teletubby. And that reason alone, I love the GoPro for, like, a friend of mine's got one, and she mounts it on her bike, and it's great. You know, I would almost go as far as to say the camera quality, like the actual video quality, might be a little better on the black, on the Hero 3 Black, than it is on this, but not by a noticeable amount, really, unless you're, you know, especially not by the time it gets up to YouTube. Hello, dead thing. You know, YouTube takes a lot of the quality out of the 1080p anyway, even encoding in H.264, so, you know, it wasn't enough of a, you know, the slight increase in quality wasn't enough to have it, you know, dangling out the side of my helmet. So, and then last but not least, I looked at the Replay 1080 compared to this one, and I've had the Replay 720. And they're great cameras. You know, the quality's good, the lens is good, the night footage is fantastic, but they've got the buttons on the top. They don't have any sort of feedback, whereas this one's got the remote, and I know every time that this is recording. I know when it's on, I know when it's off, I know when it stops, 100% of the time, you know. Whereas a lot of the time with the replays, if I'm riding along like I am now, excuse me, and I want to record something, I have to go up, press the button, hold it for 3 seconds, and it comes on. Then I've got to leave it for a couple of seconds while it starts up. Oh. And then I've got to hold the back button again for another few seconds. you know, and then hope that I held the buttons down for the right amount of time, considering that I'm also riding a motorcycle at the time. And then I have no confirmation that it's recording at all. I understand you don't with the GoPro either, but the GoPro is just literally click click, isn't it? As soon as you press the button, it starts. So anyway, I didn't, you know, love the camera, hate having it for vlogging. You know, if I was having, you know, for my specific needs, I'm not generally saying that these are bad things and that this is the best camera. I'm not. I'm saying that this is the best camera for me. It's the one that's best for my use and what I want it for. So that's why I chose the Ghost in the first place. Now, with that, we'll crack on with the good things about the camera, and there are a lot of them. First of all, as you can hear and see at the moment, the video and audio quality that I'm getting out of this camera is absolutely fantastic. That is definitely one of the selling points, especially in low light. Like, I'll show you some low light footage that I recorded the other day, and it was really good. In like dark light, it's not so good, but in sort of early evening when the sun's setting, it's great, really good. Microphone audio, fantastic. Never had a problem with the mic. Stuck it in, never touched it again. Just turned the sensitivity down to 1 in the control settings. Fantastic. Adjustable mount. Once you stick the sticky onto your helmet, you can still change the vertical angle of the camera. So I can't really take my hand off the controls at the moment to show you, but I will in a second. And secondly to that is also the rotatable lens. So what that basically means is that you can, once you stick the pad on, so let's say we stick the pad on and the camera is pointing like this, we can now adjust it that way and the lens angle that way without taking the mount off again. The only thing you can't do is adjust it from side to side relative, you know, to the direction it's pointing in. But you know, it just makes it so easy to set the camera up and get the angle that you want. Which means I can move the camera around, right? I don't have to worry like I did with the replay about taking the camera off my helmet and spending, you know, 20 minutes recording footage, taking the SIM card out, looking at whether it's straight, round and round, getting it just right again. I just turn it on, rotate that, yeah, okay, perfect, done, you know, and I'm out the door. So again, fantastic. The features for setting the camera up as well. Basically, you can just plug your iPhone, not even plug it in, just turn your iPhone on with it, get the little app installed, get a live screen, so you can put the camera under your bike, all over in funny angles where the screen's pointing down at the floor and all sorts, and look on your phone and go, yeah, that looks good, that's how I want it. You know, rotate the lens a little bit, and just look straight away and go, yeah, that's perfect. Stick it in there and off you go, you know. What else do I really like? The remote on this camera is so useful. Like I said, it's one of the things I wanted before when I was looking for my next camera, but now that I've had it and used it for a little while, it's like an absolute must-have. Until you've actually used it, you don't quite realise how useful it is, you know. Just to never have to worry about whether or not I'm going to sit there talking through a whole vlog, and then, excuse me, and then realise it's not recording when I get home, or realise that I've been turning the camera off for all the bits I wanted to record and recording all the bits in between. You know, it actually has happened to me, and it was fucking embarrassing because my mate was really looking forward to the footage. Thank you, mate. And yeah, you know, just all around, everywhere around this camera is some fantastic points, but they're the things that have really impressed me most about it. The app is quite good, but we'll bring that up again in the bad points in a minute. And yeah, just the menu's really nice and easy to use. I could literally go on all day. The camera has so many good points, but there are some bad points that come with it as well. First of all, like I mentioned before, the app that's so useful for setting the camera up, and it is, don't get me wrong, that's a great thing. Being able, you can also change the settings and everything on the app, which is great, and it works and it does its job. The problem is that through the app as well, you're also meant to be able to watch back your footage. So you're going to be able to record something on the camera and then play it back through the app. And the problem that I've got, here we go. Just a quick stop for motovloggers.com. There's my bike next to a tractor. There you go. Don't ask. Or go and check out motovlogger.com and you'll understand all about it. And yeah, so you're meant to be able to stream the 1080p footage, and you can't, basically. I've got a brand new Sony Xperia Z, a friend of mine's got a brand new iPhone, I've got an iPad, whatever number it is, at home, and none of them will connect to the Wi-Fi created by the Drift Ghost and stream 1080p video and audio. It just won't do it. It plays for about 15-20 seconds and then buffers for about 5. And it just really annoys me. And of course, as far as maybe it's just my camera, maybe it's a one-off and there's something wrong, I don't know. By all means, let me know if you can stream on one of those phones quite happily, and I'll maybe get it looked at. But you know, for me, Drift made the camera. They know what footage is coming out of it. They also made the wireless controller because it's built into the camera, so they know what they need to be able to transmit per second. And they obviously haven't done it. That has to be just an engineering fuck up, as far as I'm concerned. You know, and it's quite a big. They're pushing that quite heavy. Thank you very much, Laurie. I don't know why you were doing that, but I'm glad you did. And yeah, the only other bad point I have about the camera is the mount. There's police ahead. It's probably explaining the traffic jam that's not usually here. The mount itself, you know, like I was explaining before, you have this rotatable sort of mount socket that sits on the camera. When that actually goes into the adhesive mount that's stuck on the side of the helmet, it's a little bit loose, and I'll show you what I mean by that as soon as there aren't police. That looks like it's just an accident. Oh, what is... No, don't do that, Jesus. Ah, yeah, car accident, lovely. Don't you go anywhere. Go. Aw, poor people. Everyone looks alright, no one hurt. Good. Yeah, so if I show you this here, look, and I move the camera, that's the helmet staying perfectly still and the camera moving. I'll do you one more here on them. That's just wiggle play between the camera and the mount, and I know it's only a small amount, and hopefully you'll see it moving relative to the helmet, but it's enough to annoy me. It doesn't really matter because I've mounted it from up to down, so it slides in the top, and then I've twisted it forward, so it only does it when I go over a bump. But when I'm doing high speed and I'm doing some of my more, let's say, progressive rides, it's bumping up and down quite a bit, and what that means is that it actually, nice and slowly, it's been dry for days and it's now soaking wet. These roads are slippery as hell, but what it means is that you get the movement of the helmet, which is the camera's going to be fixed to, and it just looks really distorted and horrible in the footage. Seeing the helmet move really sort of catches your eye and distracts you. However, I have spoke to Action Cameras about this, and they've already spoken to Drift, and they are intending on fixing it. You know, it's something they're aware about. It's something a lot of people have complained about, especially when people mount it so it clips in forward, because then it shakes back and forth all the time, which is shit. So yeah, to be honest, they are the only two things I've found so far that I'm not perfectly happy with this camera. Is that I can't stream the 1080p footage, but that's not the end of the world, because I can just take the SD card out and stick it in my phone. or I can just plug it into the computer, you know, and play it straight away. So it's really not a big deal, but it is a bit of a niggle that I'd like them to solve. And secondly is the mount that's slightly loose that they already know about, they're in the process of fixing. I've actually got one of the new mounts, but I just haven't had chance to use it yet. So that shows you how really bothered I am about it, you know. So I will keep you guys up to date on that. But yeah, all in all, I am absolutely chuffed to bits. It's just an overview of this camera. You know, if you want a good 1080p camera that's nice and easy to use with all the features you're going to need, as far as I'm concerned, as a vlogger, motor vlogger, it has without a doubt the best features for vlogging, full stop. You know, the remote makes it nice and simple, the adjustable lens makes it really easy to move, you can mount it pretty much wherever the hell you want, and the audio and video is fantastic. You know, this is just the drift mic, you know, that you buy from them, plugged it in, stuck it in the front of my helmet, turn the sensitivity down, bang, that's it, camera's ready to roll, press record, start chatting away, you know. So anyway, I've definitely babbled on for long enough, so I'm going to love you and leave you guys. But yeah, I wanted to be really in depth with this. I really wanted to go through everything as, you know, I didn't want to leave anything out. Just give you guys a complete view of how I found the camera, and hopefully this will help you out making your decision. And you know, like I said, I'm not some sort of drift fanboy. This is just the facts for me, and this is what I want. I have nothing. I've never used a drift product before. Got no loyalty to them, but the camera they put out is spot on, and I'm really glad I brought it. So I'm going to not crash into this 4x4, and I'll see you all soon.